Hello everyone. Today our group will present a case study of a 2019 public relations crisis involving Vinamilk, one of Vietnam's most iconic dairy brands. This presentation is divided into three parts with three speakers, and I will begin with the background and causes of the crisis. Vinamilk Company background. Vinamilk, officially known as Vietnam Dairy Product Joint Stock Company, was established on August 20, 1976. It is the largest and most influential dairy company in Vietnam, with export to over 60 countries worldwide and a strong presence across Asia. Listed on the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange under the code VNM, the company holds 54.5% of the liquid milk market and ranks 15 among Vietnam's largest enterprises according to the UNDP. Its main products include liquid milk, yogurt, condensed milk, and other dairy-based goods as well as machinery for the dairy industry. The School Meal Program. In July 2016, the Vietnamese Prime Minister approved Decision number 1340 issued by the Prime Minister of Vietnam to implement the school meal program. The initiative aimed to improve nutrition and promote health development for children aged 2 to 12 years old, with a strict requirement that only fresh milk be used. Bidding process and contract details. Vinamilk compete against Nutri Food and TH True Milk in the bidding process, leveraging its advanced production capabilities and competitive pricing. Vinamilk secures a contract worth over 3,828 billion Vietnam dong. The winning product's price at 6,286 Vietnam dong per 180 milliliter box, sweetened and unsweetened, was distributed to multiple provinces, including Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, Tra Vinh, Vĩnh Long, and Kon Tum. The crisis, allegations, and media storm. However, shortly after winning the bid, a media storm erupted. Several outlets accused Vinamilk of breaching program requirements by supplying reconstituted milk made from milk powder instead of 100% fresh milk. The focus was on Vinamilk ADM Gold, which, according to its packaging, contained 96% milk, a mix of water, milk powder, milk fat, and fresh milk, plus sugar, vegetable oil, stabilizer, flavorings, vitamins, and minerals. Critics argue that this formulation did not comply with the fresh milk only directive. Summary of causes. The controversy escalated when the Vietnam Education newspaper accused Vinamilk of misleading advertising, suggesting that the brand intentionally created the perception of using 100% fresh milk. The narrative gained traction, sparking concerns among parents, educators, and policymakers about transparency and compliance. Public trust began to erode with heated debates spreading on social media and being amplified by other news outlets. From a PR perspective, Vinamilk faced a reputational crisis characterized by declining stakeholder confidence, increased scrutiny, and mounting pressure from competitors and consumers to provide a clear explanation. Compounding the issue were allegations that Vinamilk had received unfair political advantage or protection from influential parties. This added a sensitive political dimension, making the crisis more complex to manage. In summary, Vinamilk found itself at the center of a high-profile PR crisis involving allegations of product misrepresentation, violation of government program standards, and a potential political favoritism. The combination of negative media framing, public skepticism, and social media amplification pose a severe threat to companies' image, credibility, and market leadership. That concludes the background and causes of the crisis. I will now hand over my teammate who will discuss Vinamilk crisis report, strategies and the PR tactics they use to navigate the situation.
Thank you for the introductions. Now let's move to the second part of our presentations, focusing on how Vinamilk responded to the 2019 communication crisis and the strategic public relations actions they implemented to protect their brand. First, Vinamilk demonstrated a quick, firm, and proactive attitude. As soon as the negative media report began spreading, the company reacted immediately instead of remaining silent. They promptly posted an official response on their corporate websites. This clear, transparent, and well-structured statement to provide this accurate information and presented both perspectives, preventing the public from being swayed by misleading content. By acting swiftly, Vinamilk took control of the narrative early on, reducing confusion and maintain credibility, and showing they were taking the accusations seriously. The next step was direct to engagement with the relevant authorities. Vinamilk submitted the formal document to the government and local education departments, affirming that products meet all the legal and quality standards. They emphasized that the milk used in the school milk program did not violate any regulations and were enriched with 14 essential vitamins and minerals, proven to support the child's development from age 2 to 12. By presenting scientific evidence and the government approvals formulations, they strengthened their defense and distanced them from the misleading claims. Vinamilk also requested the Hanoi Department of Education and Training to issue a formal report to clarify the matters and expressing the Vietnam education newspaper articles. This aimed to stop misinformation from spreading and to show that the company was working with authorities, not covering up the issue. A notable action was strong public statement from the CEO Ms. Michael Lynch on April 19, 2019. During a company annual general meeting, she announced plans to file a civil lawsuit against the Vietnam education newspaper for spreading false information. She said, Vinamilk not a soft target for anyone to say whatever they want. We prepare to defend our integrity and ensure that the truth will be made clear. This assertive tone demonstrated leadership, determination, and sent a warning to irresponsible media outlets about the risks of publishing unverified content. In parallel, Vinamilk launched a broad, multi-channel communication campaign, and rather than relying solely on the press releases, they leveraged what the report called invisible fork, user-regenerated content, and organic public support. Social media platforms, online forums, and community groups worth lauded. With the positive pause defending the brand and its nutritional values. Many share personal experience building emotional connection with the audience and countering false claims. This approach diversifies the narrative and dilutes the original accusations. While no company can fully control online discourse, Vinamilk skillfully influences its volume and direction, demonstrating effect PR management. Through 4 key actions, timely response, legal actions, a strong media presence, Vinamilk steered the situations in the favorable directions. They didn't deny the crisis, but acknowledged it, clarified the fact, and actively communicated their stance across the platform. To sum up, Vinamilk 2019 crisis response is a textbook example of managing public relations under pressure. They act promptly, back their claim with the evidence, engage legal channels when necessary, and maintain strong public engagement. Most importantly, they regain the control of the conversations. Now, let's move to the second part of our presentations, where our third speaker will evaluate the effectiveness of the Vinamilk strategies and share key takeaways from this case. Thank you.
Thank you for the previous presentation. Now in the final part, I'll evaluate how effective Vinamilk's crisis response were and highlight key public relations lessons of this case. First, Vinamilk responded quickly and clearly. In crisis communication, timing is critical. By reacting immediately through official channels, they avoided public confusion and prevented others from controlling the narrative. Also, they didn't remain silent. Instead, they took initiative and addressed the accusations head-on. Their approach showed responsibility and confidence. They acknowledged the issue, responded directly, and maintained communication with both the public and authorities. This is exactly how brands should behave under pressure. Another strong point was their clarity and transparency. Vinamilk didn't shift blame or issue vague statements. Instead, they shared clear explanations about their product's ingredients, regulatory, compliance, and scientific reasoning behind their formulas. This level of openness helped build trust and position them as a company that welcomes accountability. Vinamilk also made a bold legal move by announcing a lawsuit against Vietnam Education newspaper. Regardless of legal outcome, this action sent a clear message. They wouldn't tolerate misinformation. It was a way to protect their reputation and to signal that they were ready to defend themselves seriously. Beyond formal efforts, they also used informal communication. On social media and online forums, supporters, including customers, employees, and experts, shared positive messages and defended the brand. This organic support helped humanize their response and make it more relatable to the public. So, what were the results? Despite the crisis, Vinamilk maintained public trust. Their share and stock prices stayed stable, and they continue to be selected in school milk programs. More than that, they use the prices to reinforce their image as the responsible and professional brand. As communication professionals, especially in times of crisis or sensitive situations. There are several key principles we should always keep in mind. First of all, it's crucial to act quickly. Delays can be costly. They give others the opportunity to shape the narrative before you do. Secondly, always try to be transparent. Clear, honest, and detailed communication builds reliability and trust, both internally and externally. In addition, it's important to be prepared. That means having a right communication plan in place before you actually need it. Also, don't hesitate to use legal tools if the situation calls for it. They can help you protect your organization and maintain control the message. Moreover, make sure to leverage both formal and informal communication channels. Using a combination of both allows your message to reach a wider audience more effectively. And finally, remember that building a strong reputation takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires consistent efforts, clear values, and long-term thinking. In conclusion, the 2019 Vinamilk crisis was a serious challenge, but thanks to the smart, timely, and strategic response, the company managed to protect and even strengthen its reputation. This case is a strong example of how effective crisis communication can turn a threat into opportunity for brand leadership. That's on our presentation. Thank you for listening.